I can't tell love from devotion when you stand so close to me. Tell me the secret of your eternal beauty. Wanna know your potion. I wanna bathe in your sea. I wanna dive in your ocean. And I forget all my fears. Hold me and don't let go. I don't care what people say. It's my emotions. I wanna bathe in your sea. I wanna dive in your ocean. I wanna dive. I wanna rise a better life. I wanna die. I wanna breathe underwater. I wanna lay on the ground. I wanna fuck Neptune's daughter. I wanna kill all the sound. Tell me the secret of your eternal youth. I wanna live forever. Don't wanna sink like a stone. I wanna glide like a feather. I wanna dive. I wanna rise a better life. I wanna dive. I wanna dive. I wanna rise a better life. I wanna rise.
Hello, fans of the craziness. Strap in, grab a cup of coffee, preferably in an HP42 mug that you can purchase at Teespring. Or now it's called, I don't know, Spring or whatever. I don't know. They changed their name. Get a cup of coffee in an appropriate mug and be prepared for a long-ass video for a spring reverb pedal. How in the world can a spring reverb pedal be complex? You got frickin' springs, you got mix, tone, and sometimes dwell, and you're done. It's literally one of the most simple things out there, been around since forever. How is it possible that this is going to be a complex video? Well, you bring in Gamechanger audio, where the ideas come from the craziest places. As I can't even tell you, I just talked to Toms and I heard things you don't even... Bug zappers and whatever. That's all I'm saying. And then let's find out what the sounds are. So let's go into the light pedal. It's right there and it's extremely complicated. So a spring. Look at that. Let's illuminate the whole thing. I have instructions here, which I will have to get to. So as far as I understand this, and of course there's a beautiful video by Colin Scott, CS Guitars, about spring reverbs and how they work. There is a input transducer in this case, let's say on top of here, that kind of puts an impulse that takes electricity and turns it into a shaky thing. Then there's a spring, in this case 3 of them, and the length of the spring and the tightness of the spring affect the sound. And at the bottom, there's an output transducer, a pickup, which takes the shaky rattleness and turns it into electricity again. It's a very, very old kind of circuit, and that shaky rattleness gets mixed in. And what happens when the electricity went through the spring or something, not the electricity, that's not how it works, but I just told you, I told you how it works, you know. Then you have that kind of a metallic reverby thing. This has that. Done, video done, simple. You have a dry knob, you have a spring knob, and that's your typical spring, including, even when it's off, those types of sounds. So, that's your typical normal spring sound. Let's bring in the not so normal spring sound. Spring down, and we're gonna turn up the optical. So the more we're gonna turn that up, you see lights come in. The lights have no actual sound function. The function of the lights is to illustrate what is going on, and they really help, and they're very important for you to understand how to set up the pedal. It's kind of centered here. See, when you turn control, you see what's going on. So let me tell you what's going on. On the right side, right here, and right there, not left there, no, right there. There are infrared emitters shooting infrared beams through the springs. On the left side, left there, I'm so not funny, there are photocells that are only responding to infrared light. And so pretty much they can detect the light beam coming from the other side, the right side, through the spring. And of course, tiny movement in the spring affect how the infrared receivers, the photocells, respond. And they put out an electrical signal based on the light that they're getting. Of course, the light is being interrupted by the spring. And therefore, it can respond very, very, very precisely to what the spring is doing. Obviously, the spring at this side right here behaves very differently than here in the middle, where it's more loosely hanging. And with this control, you can actually say how, let's say how much of that photocell is being mixed in. Right now, it's only the top one. And right now, it's only the middle one. No, now it's kind of in between. So both of them a little bit. Now it's only the middle one. Now it would be at the bottom, even though there's no photocell, but it's a mixed thing probably. And then you can pretty much with control determine which part of the spring is being picked up optically. Now, the important thing is that it's infrared, so that a light on a stage or a light in a room like we have here, it's very, very bright here, doesn't affect it. And obviously, we're going to make a test to see if actual outside light affects the sound. Then, since you can say these pick up and these pick up, you can, of course, you see, moving around, you can do crazy things. What if I could do this? Well, you go to sweep, and it's doing exactly that in a predetermined speed. And all the while, see, I'm turning this down, turning the spring up, and then this light comes on showing you, okay, that's the actual normal spring. You can mix in your standard transduced spring sound with the optical spring sound. And the optical spring, of course, has benefits like being able to pick up at different parts of the spring. Then you can go to trem. So that's a tremolo being done optically. But then you have 3 modes that are not related to the optical thing, and you can actually stack them with the optical mode. So let's say the first 3, optics, trem, and sweep, optic, sweep, and trem, are done optically, and then the other modes are something that's also cool, and you can actually use the first 3 and the second 3, one of each at the same time. So Reflect, I'm gonna probably have to play some to show you. What Reflect does is it takes the output back into the input at a predetermined time. So it's a optical spring reverb delay effect. So only the reverb will be delayed. Totally cool. You can actually play delays with that. Feedback is doing exactly that. It's feeding the output back into the input, and you can get positive feedback. And then of course that's a note, which you can tune a little bit. And then you have crazy feedback, reverby feedback effects. You can already see drive is important. Drive is how much signal is being fed into the reverb. Therefore, it kind of acts like a global reverb mix, but not just, because when you crank it up, it's actually driving the reverb into a little bit of distortion. So more drive means more reverb level, but also more okay? And then there's harmonic, where the circuit focuses more on the overtones of the input signal. Doesn't necessarily have to be a guitar, but that's what we're using. And then takes these overtones, which are tunable a little bit through the control, and sends them into the spring, therefore creating something, in this case, like an analog shimmer. So it's emphasizing the overtones, and you get a shimmer reverb without actually going digital. Control controls these things. Drive is how much you're pumping into the reverb. Spring and optical are the mixes, and tone affects your reverb tone, not your drive signal. Gate is ultra cool. Gate will affect everything. So you play guitar and you stop, and then the gate closes. It closes faster the more you go to the left. And that means your reverb can actually be gated, and the decay cuts off faster. And positive gate will actually be ducking reverb. The more you play, the reverb gets ducked down. You let go of the guitar, all of a sudden, you don't play, and then the reverb comes up. There's latching on and off. On off, it means it's a latching foot switch, so you can bring in this amazing swell and then let go, and then it turns off. But of course, if the tails are on, then your reverb tail is still there and it doesn't immediately cut off. On the back, we have no camera over today, but on the back we have input-output, expression input, which we're going to cover. Expression can actually control. I know, I told you it's complex. Doesn't look like it, huh? But it is. Expression can control. Well, right now the default is the control knob, which makes sense. But it can also be the spring, the optical, the drive, or the gate. So you can have this mix, the gate, or the drive knob. Drive knob kind of makes sense because it's also kind of like a mix, or how much is being fed into the reverb. Now, it gets interesting because on sweep mode, so right now it's sweeping, when you're holding down the foot switch and changing control, you're changing the curve. So right now that looks like a ramp. That's kind of a sine. That looks a little bit random. So that could be like a sample and hold. That looks like a ramp up. Yep. Crazy! And it does something with the foot switch held in on the other modes as well. Yeah, on the Trem mode, it can actually apply to the spring or the trem. It depends on which one is louder. So if the spring is louder than the optical, it'll affect the spring here. It'll affect the spring. You can see that on top. If this is louder than this, it'll affect the optical. If they're both the same volume, it affects both. These crazy Latvians. Control knob, it calibrates the optical sensor pairs. I don't know what that means. If I'm on reflect. Which ones you want. I get it. So it does kind of what optics does, but on the other modes. Okay. Well, that pretty much was it. Oh, no, it wasn't. When you're holding down the foot switch and adjusting the gate, you're actually adjusting a dynamic response, meaning the harder you play, the more will be pumped into the reverb circuit. So you literally have control over even the speed, I think, of the tremolo with your playing. How are we going to demo on that? We will right now. Also, in the box, which is really, really cool, look at this. It's kind of a Polaroid of all this together. It says Light Pedal, January 2021, Gamechanger audio. And it's a Polaroid sticker. It's cool. Do you need it? No, but it's cool. Pedal right now, I think, should be around €350. I know that's steep, but it only does what it does. That's the only thing in the world that'll do what it does. So let's go through the modes and do stuff. I'm playing this PRS CE24 semi-hollow with coil tap because otherwise it's too hot. Into the pedal. Before it, I've got a Golden Boy from Jackson Audio if I wanted some drive, which I don't think we're only going to do once in this video. And that's going into the Tone King Sky King right there behind the pedal, into the aux with a 412 loaded creamback. And here we go without this pedal. Great clean sound. And the pedal shows you in orange that you're playing and how much you're giving in. Why is it important? Well, A, it's cool, and B, obviously for the envelope detecty kind of a thing that we're gonna... I haven't even tried that. So can you use it as a normal spring? Hell yeah! What if you don't want that sound? Well, on the back, there's a switch where they're using accelerometer to determine whether you're hitting the table or the pedal board or whatever, and then they're cutting off the output. So let me do that. It's on hard, there's soft and hard. Doesn't do magic, but it works quite well. So, spring. Yeah, that'll do the job. How much am I driving it? Let's see. So you got some fizzle there. Nice. So you could have extreme spring like I have right now, but not trash it, have a trashier mix. of like a little bit of a room. Actually, now that I saw that Leslie had it on that close-up, let's see. Right there, you can see the receivers. On the other side are the transmitters for the infrared. And right there is, you can see three of them. Three of them up there. There's one actually below up here. So there's 1, 2, and then one below. And I can see 1, 2, and something like that. No, it's actually 2 on each side. Okay, good. Well, we're going to look at that a little bit because it's a cool shot anytime it does cool things. So let's see, anytime that does like a cool go to that shot and make the viewers happy. So we covered what the gate does, which is cool, but what if the gate goes reverse, meaning it's a ducker? That works. Now let's go and make it very clear what's happening. I'm turning dry down. I'm turning the spring down so we only hear the optical, which I'm going to turn up quite a bit. I'm going to start up there. This is the sound of the optical spring. Compared to the transduced spring, which has that fluttery kind of metallic effect, and this has more of a resonant effect. I have a feeling it being so resonant-y, pitchy, that at some point in the future, when you buy a multi-algorithm reverb, like a Strymon or whatever, that optical spring will be one of the algorithms that from now on people will program, because it's a different sound, and it kind of belongs into a source audio Ventris or any kind of any kind of multi-algorithm thing where you have plate and hall and digital and all that. Optical will have to be included, because there you go, different reverb sound. So let's move on. It's moving back and forth. Obviously, you can imagine that's going to make cool sounds. Control controls the speed. Remember, none of that is digital. That's photosensors being fed infrared light, translating that into electricity, and then something. I don't understand electronics. Go to Colin Scott, he knows stuff. So, yeah. So remember, I can change the waveform. Holding in this soft clicky, ramp down. That's inspiring shit right there. Let's go slow again. That sine. And here we have some kind of erratic, jumpy back and forthy. Could be square, I don't know. I want to try that with a drive. Okay, we covered that rather nicely. On to trem. That's the trem speed. And what is affected is determined by the relative volume of optical and spring. Right now, optical is higher than spring, so therefore it's only optical. So if I mix in spring a bit, it's not being affected by the tremolo. If spring is louder than optical, it will only be spring, as you can see on the top flashing. If they're set to the same volume, it's both of them. Okay. And what do I affect with the calibrates the optical and whatever? Ah, right. And now I can say, now all the optical stuff is on. It was only the top that was on. So you can always say what is affected. What is affected by the effect, by holding foot switch and control. So now we move on to reflect, which isn't an optical effect. It literally takes the input, the output back into the input, but at a certain time. And that's controlled by control. Can I do a lead sound with that? Could be kind of an original, instead of using analog delay, using an optical reverb reflection thingy. Okay, moving on. Feedback is literally just feeding the reverb back into itself. Doesn't really care too much about my actual guitar because it's busy feeding back. Making its own sound there. It's just playing without me. Now, if you wanted to use that momentarily, that'll be cool. I actually used it in the intro track, and I kind of tuned it to an E, which was fine with my F major 7 and A minor. So that's a possibility to actually find a note that works. Or, of course, use it latching. So you're playing... It only works when the tails are on, because otherwise you let go and it's gonna be gone. Okay, if you wanted that. And why not? It's called Morse code. I hope I'm not breaking it. Okay, possibilities. And then we got harmonic, which again tunes it a little bit to pull out harmonics out of your signal. And this is what happens. Imagine it like a filter that focuses in on the higher harmonics of what you're doing and pushes that. It's not a digital shimmer. Now, if I'm mixing that in with my standard spring and my guitar, it'll sound like I'm actually doing a shimmer, because well, that's exactly what the sound that you have. We're getting this out of an optical spring circuit. These freaking Latvians are absolutely crazy. Now you're saying, well, how cool would it be to combine that with, let's say, the sweep effect? Well, as I said, the three optical effects can be combined with the feedbacky kind of effects. So the way you do that is, again, you're holding in the foot switch and you're turning that mode wheel. So I set up the way that I want my thing to sound like right now. Okay, I like that. And now I'm making it sweep. Now I'm on sweep. Now, if you want to tell me that that didn't give any ambient player a boner, then you're lying. I know you guys are sitting there and you're like all like drooling, like, let me get the light. I know you are. Or let's do the reflect. So I'm changing everything I did. I'm picking Trem. Hold in the foot switch. Go to reflect. And now. Now it's doing that reverby delay thing by feeding back into itself, but with a delay. And it's also doing tremolo. And I'm controlling the tails with the gate. You get the idea. 2 things are left. It's ridiculous what's in this box. And it's all very usable. It all makes sense. Almost as if the Gamechanger audio guys think like guitar players. So let's go to a normal sweep thing to illustrate what's happening. Let's see. Oh, wait. And now, by holding in foot switch and gate, I should be able to trigger that dynamically. So the more guitar signal it has, the slower it is now. As the guitar signal goes down, it goes faster. Maybe in that direction it's the opposite. Probably the same thing on Trem. This is absolutely freaking insane. So I'm going to make sure this is centered again. How do I know exactly if it's centered? Well, first of all, there's a little circle. And secondly, I feel it. The knobs have an indentation. So I know exactly, even here where there's no circle, that they're centered. Crazy! Let's go expression pedal. Which right now is on the floor. And it's going to control. Look at this stuff. It seems to do the full range and not wherever control set is maximum, which means you can easily go too far. So up here it's just all speed. But interestingly, it's way, way, way fast now, but as soon as I touch control, I'm back to where I need to be. So as long as there's no new impulse coming in, the control knob still works and is overriding the expression pedal. That's good. So how do you assign a different knob to the expression? It's actually not that complicated. I read it once 3 hours ago on the toilet, which is where I learn things. We unplug it and plug it in while holding the foot switch, I think. It's doing a little dance with the lights. The next knob I touch should be the one I assigned. Done. So you can do spring, optical, control, and drive. Right now it's assigned to drive. Let's see if it is. So yeah, if it's all the way down, what's with my pants? And if I take the drive down, you see, it's still lingering, so I still have my tails. So if I go to sweep, give it a lot of spring, a lot of optical. Let's, in addition to that, give it some reflection. Okay. The Light Pedal by Gamechanger Audio. Don't think that whatever those guys do is run of the mill. But however, whatever they do turns out to be, even though you think it's the craziest motherfucking idea ever, it's inspiring. The plasma pedal is freaking crazy and just is noise, but it's inspiring fun noise. Then that white thing pedal, yellow, orange thing that did the pitchy stuff, inspiring noise. They have a synth, which I would love to check out. Motor synth, which is doing this, it's mechanical synth. Crazy. This is ridiculous, yet unique, yet organic. It's not digital. And even though I read the manual once, played with it for a couple of hours, recording the track at the beginning, I get it. I get what it does. I get what the secondary functions do. So, I don't think €350 is too much for this. It is a rather big pedal, so you do have to sacrifice the space on your board. If you're a Spring Reverb aficionado, there isn't even a question whether you should get this or not. Not even an inkling of an idea of a little question mark. It's a must-have. Now, I will bitch about 2 things. 3 things. First of all, it doesn't come in different colors. Come on, what's with the black people? Okay, that's their thing. I get it. 2 things. Number 1, I wish the optical was louder. I wish that if I had it by itself like I just had, I could get some more heft out of it. Now, I asked about this and they said there's an inherent noise floor in that type of reverb. I don't hear it. So they were afraid to get that noise floor up too loud. I don't hear it. I don't. Oh, by the way, the pedal needs 500 milliamps. Apparently, if they were to give it more, that could be remedied, but they tried to make it so that it goes on a pedal board. And if you have a modern power supply like a Chox DC7 or a Strymon Zuma, they are all capable of 500 milliamps, and that's what they were going for. And there is trade-offs. So, okay. Independent of that, I wish the optical was a little bit louder to run it by itself and get more volume out of it. However, if I record it, I can just get it in the DAW, pull that up, or put a compressor behind it and make up gain and you're good. So, okay, that's number 1. Number 2, I wish that the secondary functions were somehow visually communicated. Like envelope right here under gate in gray, or under control, kind of show a little bit with the graphic what to do. The Neunaber Immerse has an amazing graphic where on the different modes, there's actually lines going to the knobs. And without a manual, you know instinctively based on the graphic what it does. It's a brilliantly designed graphic on that pedal. And I think that could be done here. There's a lot of black space, and I know it would clutter up the pedal a bit, but it would be cool. You're holding this in, and on this, there's a line going through, I don't know, bias. There's a line going through, at sweep, a line going through a waveform symbol. So, line, waveform symbol, going over here. That way you would know what it does. It would be nice because realistically, after a week of not playing with it and setting it up, it's on your pedal board. Do you really know what they all do again without pulling out the really cool manual? I don't know if you would. So I like a very clear user interface, and if there's secondary functions, I'm an advocate for actually having those secondary functions on the top of the pedal. Other than that, I played with it and was pretty impressed. Then I read on the crapper the manual and saw the secondary functions and the fact that you could stack 2 of those modes, optic, sweep, and trem, with one of the reflect, feedback, and harmonic. And I was like, oh lordy, that's insane. And in the track you heard at the beginning, I almost had no dry in it whatsoever. It was just all, I was totally content with just all reverb. It's unique. It's clever. It's not run of the mill. It's well built by absolute nerds. That's what they are. What else can I say? I hope I demoed everything. Oh, oh, this is a paid video, but you don't have to pay me to say good things about this, because it is good. And it's not even $1,000, which probably could be, because it would still mean it's the only thing that does what it does. Oh, Leslie, you didn't remind me to actually check if we can influence it with light. So, gonna turn this on optics. Okay, now we definitely have it on only optical. Let's find a light source. Light source. What kind of light source could we find around here? I mean, lightsaber is a light source, right? I'm most certainly influencing it with a lightsaber. So, not even a lightsaber can deter the light pedal by Gamechanger Audio. Thank you, Leslie and Michiel, for the lightsaber. Which makes me giggle every time. Come on, come on. That's just too cool. Links below. Thanks, Gamechanger Audio, for commissioning this video. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks, Mr. Guru, for the crazy shirt. Thanks, PS, for the guitar, I guess. And, animals at the end.
It's pouring down from the sky, the coldest night of my life. I feel let down, it's no surprise, this Hollywood you never showed. There's an empty seat next to me,